Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. This is the NFL calendar right now is, of course, the NFL draft. But I think there are also some other things that are happening around the New Orleans Saints, certainly some free agent signings, and a little bit of sound as well. Klint Kubiak entering his first offseason as the offensive coordinator of the New Orleans Saints, and he has not been really made available to the media to this point, so we haven't really gotten to hear anything Klint Kubiak has had to say. That changed a little bit earlier this week when he jumped on WWL down in New Orleans and chatted with Mike Hoss and Deuce McAllister, the broadcast team for the New Orleans Saints. And there are a few bites that I wanted to get to kind of paint the picture of what Klint Kubiak has gotten himself into here in New Orleans. And it starts kind of big picture. Okay, you come from this Shanahan tree. Everybody talks about it, all the creativity, the motions, all the fun stuff that's going on out west with the Shanahan tree. And so Klint Kubiak kind of spoke to, okay, what is your philosophy on offense?
Well, I think we just want to be grounded and run the football. We want to have an identity that we can run the ball versus 8-man fronts, and that's something we're going to stress to our guys early in the offseason and, building our play actions and building, moving the pocket off of that and trying to be a really good team on first and second down. So that'll be kind of stuff we're dialed in on here in phase 1 and phase 2.
That doesn't sound like a super interesting bite. It sounds like his dad, quite frankly. His dad was very much into, we're going to run the football, we're going to be good on first and second down, and that's going to make everything we do a lot easier. But he could have answered that question saying, we want to be creative, we want to be difficult to deal with, we want to be aggressive, we want to use motions and try to deceive defensive players' eyes and all these type of things that we kind of think of when we think about the 49er offenses that we've looked at. But at its core, we got to run the ball. And guess what? The Saints sucked at running the ball last year, especially early in the year. Kamara missed some time with suspension. You didn't know what you were going to get from Jamal Williams week in and week out. He was banged up a little bit, ended up not being super productive. You brought in a draft choice as a rookie. Kendre Miller didn't play a ton, so it wasn't like you got to see a ton of that either. They just weren't very good in terms of the offensive line and the backs they had to run the football. Really, the only way the Saints ran the ball with any success until Halloween last year was lining Taysom Hill up back there and just running straight ahead with him. Every other piece to the running game was not very good. And so for Klint Kubiak to say that's where we have to start, I think is a little bit revealing, and it's certainly going to take a lot of work because the Saints were not good at that last year. The second biggest piece to this thing, when you talk about Klint Kubiak, is working with the Saints quarterback, and the Saints are, as you well know, married to Derek Carr for the next 2 seasons. So Kubiak spoke to his working with Derek Carr.
I think Derek's is a really good athlete. I think he's extremely accurate with the ball. He's played a lot of football, and obviously a huge part of me getting to come here was the chance to get to work with him. And I've observed him from a long time, just following the league, and he's a quarterback I have a lot of respect for, and just my short time with him has been really impressive. And number one, his intellect and what he can handle and what he can carry upstairs, but just those guys going out throwing and catching right now, that he's in really good shape. It's really important to him to be a great player, and it's really important to me and our coaches that we give him a successful system that he can have, he can build some confidence in.
This is a pretty good landing spot for Klint Kubiak in terms of having Derek Carr. Now, don't misunderstand me. He didn't have Patrick Mahomes, okay? I'd rather have Joe Burrow. Joe Brady fell into a really nice situation last year as an interim, having Josh Allen to play quarterback for him. It's not that good, but it's better than what Sean Payton's got in Denver right now. That's obvious. You're not having to deal with Zach Wilson. You're dealing with, very much, in my opinion, a league average quarterback. If Derek Carr has a shoddy offensive line, banged up weapons on the outside, and not very good defense, then yeah, you're not going to have a lot of success. But if you put some solid, not excellent, solid pieces around Derek Carr, he can function in a quality offense. I'm not prepared to say the Saints were running a quality offense last year. That's Klint Kubiak's goal here. And while there could be a ton of excitement in coming in to say he could take either the Bears offensive coordinator job or the Saints offensive coordinator job, there's a lot of excitement to have Caleb Williams and to grow with him and to potentially have the next star in the league. Same thing goes in Washington for Jaden Daniels. If you go into that situation, man, this could be something great. I don't know that what you have in New Orleans is destined to be great or the top of the league. But you do know, without a shadow of a doubt, that Derek Carr can go out there and function in offense as long as you put it around him. So for Klint Kubiak, there's a safety net there that is Derek Carr. Now, for me personally, as I analyze the situation, I'm a little bit torn on what exactly Derek Carr is. And I realize that you could scream and yell about, he's got a track record in the league. He is exactly what he is. Struggles in the red zone. Throws for a lot of yards that don't matter. Doesn't win a lot of games. That's all proven. Go, okay, calm down. Again, I'm not trying to extend the ceiling to unimaginable heights here with Derek Carr. I did think he played better last year once the Saints got a little more creative and he was healthier than he was back in Green Bay. I just think he was a little bit better when he got healthy. And I'd like to see him fairly healthy for 16 games. I mean, he was between weeks 3 and 9, 10, like he was not healthy at all. And that just makes things difficult. And I thought as those ribs healed up, he got a little bit better. So I hope to see a little bit better from Derek Carr this coming year than we saw this past year. And one of the things that's got to get a lot better is what the Saints do in the red zone. They were putrid up into the middle of November. It got a little bit better late, but they were awful in the red zone. And the 49ers have been great in the red zone. And Klint Kubiak talked about what you've got to do in the red zone and on third downs.
Speaking first to the red zone, it's not one thing. It's being able to run the ball down there, and that's having an identity. Getting to run the ball and having success there on base downs in the red zone, so you're not getting into 3rd and 6 from the 6, 3rd and 10 from the 10. Those are tough downs. You want to try to avoid those. You want to score on your base down. So I think that's something that Coach Shanahan really harped on with those guys. As far as the third down, that's a whole nother set of deals, but it's a team game, and we had a lot of really good players on offense, and it all started with them having great protection up front, good decision maker, quarterback, and weapons on the outside. So it's all about the players, and we as coaches just got to put an organized plan together for them.
That first part is so true that he talked about there with the red zone. Like, if you can't run the ball inside the 15-yard line, like, you are in a world of hurt, because the field obviously shrinks, and these NFL DBs are so good, and the windows become so tight that it's just become, your life gets hard. If you can't run the ball and you get into 3rd and distance, as he's talking about, 3rd and 8 from the 8, 3rd and 10 from the 10, because you can't run the ball, then you're in big trouble. The Saints could not run the ball last year. Outside of Taysom Hill catching the ball so you can win a numbers advantage without a quarterback on the field, like, it was a nightmare for the Saints trying to run the ball, and especially in the red zone. That's something they've got to get better. That's something you can point to that immediately makes your team better. If you can find a way to run the football in the red zone, you immediately get better. That's probably worth 4-6 points in a game. You talk about turning a couple of field goals into a couple of touchdowns. It's 8 points. Like, that's the difference in winning and losing. And, like, I'm not giving you any, like, some sort of revolutionary take here, but it is somewhat refreshing to hear the new guy who's coming in immediately speak to issues that plagued New Orleans last year. Whether or not he can fix them remains to be seen. We'll see in September. But in a setting where he doesn't have to give correct answers or may not know the exact situation that they're in, he's headed the right direction here. The Saints have a lot of the same cast of characters they had last year. This is the one guy who can make a palpable impact on what they do from a wins and loss perspective. Hopefully he's got a plan in place and can get it orchestrated, because Saints got to get a lot better. The schedule toughens up this coming year, and you got to play better, or else your record's going to get worse. So that's Klint Kubiak, first-year Saints offensive coordinator from WWL, when he was talking with Mike Hoss and Deuce McAllister. Appreciate the audio from those folks over at WWL. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.